Secrets of the Night. A Vampire's Tale was a story of love, deception, and the timeless struggle between the allure of immortality and the bonds of humanity. It was a tale of a mortal's transformation into a creature of the night, and the price that had to be paid for eternity. And it was a story of a love that transcended time and mortality, a love that defied the boundaries between the living and the undead. Chapter 2. The letter explained that I had been selected as a potential candidate to become a vampire, that my connection with Elena had been carefully orchestrated to test whether I possessed the necessary qualities. She apologized for the deception and the whirlwind romance, but she also expressed genuine feelings for me. Overwhelmed by the revelation, I had a choice to make. Did I want to embrace the darkness and become immortal, joining Elena in a life of secrecy and the eternal thirst for blood? Or did I want to continue my mundane existence as a human, leaving behind the alluring but dangerous world of vampires? As I contemplated my decision, I couldn't help but remember the electrifying connection I had with Elena, the passion and desire that had awakened within me that fateful night. It was a choice between a normal, safe life and an existence filled with mystery, danger, and eternal life. Ultimately, I chose to embrace the unknown and accepted Elena's offer. Under the guidance of the ancient vampire order, I underwent the transformation and became one of the undead. It was a surreal and terrifying experience, but it also brought me closer to Elena, and we embarked on a new, immortal journey together. As the years passed, I learned the ways of the vampire world, its hidden societies, and the intricate web of secrets that had existed for centuries. I discovered the complexities of immortality, the exhilarating rush of hunting for blood, and the eternal struggle to blend in with the human world while concealing our true nature. My life had been forever changed, and I had become a creature of the night, just like Elena. We roamed the city together, hidden in plain sight, and embraced our vampiric nature while cherishing the love that had brought us together. But as the centuries passed, I couldn't help but wonder if I had made the right choice. The thrill of immortality had its price, and I had to watch as friends and loved ones grew old and passed away, while I remained unchanged. The eternal night was both a blessing and a curse, and I often found myself longing for the simplicity of my former life. As the years went by, Elena and I adapted to our newfound vampiric existence. We learned to navigate the intricate politics of the vampire world, blending in with society while carefully concealing our true nature. We reveled in the thrill of the hunt and the exhilarating rush of blood, but we also cherished the unique connection we shared. One evening, as we strolled through a dimly lit park, Elena whispered, "I have someone I'd like you to meet." "Someone new?" I asked, intrigued. Elena nodded. "Yes, a fellow vampire I've known for a long time. He's a bit eccentric, but he can be quite entertaining." Curiosity piqued. We made our way to a nearby cafe where Elena's friend was waiting. We found him sitting at an outdoor table, sipping on a glass of red wine. "Meet Vlad," Elena announced, with a mischievous grin. Vlad was unlike any vampire I had ever encountered. He had a flamboyant style, with long, flowing locks of silver hair that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. He wore a velvet cape that billowed dramatically in the wind and an assortment of rings on his fingers that sparkled like miniature stars. "Darlings, you simply must try the blood-infused coffee here," Vlad exclaimed, gesturing to the menu with a flourish. "It's simply to die for." We exchanged pleasantries and ordered the blood-infused coffee, eager to hear more about Vlad's unique perspective on vampiric life. "So, Vlad," I began, "how did you become a vampire?" Vlad leaned in conspiratorially, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Oh, my dear, it was the most romantic of stories. I was bitten by a vampire bat while on vacation in Transylvania. Of all places, Next thing I knew, I was immortal and craving blood. Quite the unexpected souvenir, I assure you. Elena and I exchanged amused glances. Vlad was certainly not your typical brooding vampire. He was more like a character from a dark comedy. As we chatted, Vlad regaled us with tales of his many eccentric adventures over the centuries, from crashing extravagant vampire balls to organizing a blood-tasting competition. He had a penchant for the dramatic and absurd. One night, he even recounted the time he tried to blend in with humans by attending a stand-up comedy show. I thought, why not give it a try? Vlad chuckled. But let me tell you, delivering punchlines as a vampire can be quite challenging. The audience couldn't decide if I was a stand-up comedian or a vampire who'd forgotten to turn his humor off. We laughed heartily at Vlad's comical misadventures, and it was refreshing to have someone in our undead circle who could inject humor into our otherwise solemn existence. As the weeks passed, Vlad became a regular part of our lives. He introduced us to the quirkiest corners of the vampire world, from a secret vampire karaoke night where immortals belted out love songs to an underground vampire jazz club where the musicians never aged. One evening, Vlad invited us to a masquerade ball hosted by a reclusive vampire known for his extravagant parties. The ball was rumored to be a celebration of the rare blood moon, an event that occurred once every century, during which vampires could temporarily regain their human appearances. The night of the blood moon arrived, and we adorned ourselves in elegant costumes and intricately crafted masks. Elena was resplendent in a gown that shimmered like moonlight, while Vlad donned a top hat adorned with feathers. The ball was held in a grand Gothic mansion hidden away in the depths of the city. The interior was adorned with velvet drapes, chandeliers that cast an eerie glow, and walls adorned with centuries-old paintings of vampires and their human companions. As we mingled with the other guests, it became clear that the partygoers were taking the masquerade theme to an extreme. Vampires in elaborate disguises of all kinds roamed the opulent halls. One vampire sported a beehive wig and a flowing gown, while another dressed as a medieval knight with a cardboard sword. Vlad, always the center of attention, had dressed as a flamenco dancer, complete with a red rose tucked behind his ear. He twirled and danced with exaggerated flair, earning him both laughter and applause from the guests. Elena and I watched in amusement as Vlad charmed the eccentric crowd. It was refreshing to see the usually secretive and brooding vampire world embrace a night of whimsy and laughter. As the evening progressed, the blood moon rose in the sky, casting a soft crimson glow over the festivities. For a brief moment, the vampires in attendance regained their human appearances. It was a surreal sight, as centuries, old immortals suddenly appeared as they did when they were human. Vlad, who had taken center stage, was now a dashing figure in a tuxedo, twirling his cape with a flourish. He approached us with a mischievous smile. "Isn't this a delightful turn of events, my friends?" Vlad exclaimed. "I haven't looked this good in centuries." We couldn't help but laugh at the spectacle. The partygoers, momentarily human in appearance, reveled in the absurdity of it all. It was a night of unexpected joy and camaraderie in the vampire world, all thanks to Vlad's eccentricity and humor. As the night wore on, the blood moon's effects faded, and the vampires returned to their true forms. Vlad, once again a flamenco dancer, bid us farewell with a theatrical bow. "Until our next adventure, my dear friends," he said with a wink, disappearing into the night. Elena and I left the masquerade ball with a sense of lightness and camaraderie we had never experienced before in our immortal existence. Vlad had brought laughter and humor into our lives, reminding us that even in the darkness, there could be moments of joy and absurdity. In the years that followed, we continued to cherish our unique friendship with Vlad, knowing that his eccentricity would always bring a touch of humor to our eternal nights. He was the unexpected comedic relief in our vampiric world, a reminder that even immortals could find moments of levity in the night's embrace. Don't forget to subscribe.